Hey, what's good, guys? We're on the question set 22, and the first question is find the details of the students who participated in the Sinhala subject in the examination held on 2020 3rd of 15 sorry the March 15th of March. So uh, this is date, and there is a subject, and we need the details of the students. That's all we need. And you can see the date, exam date is what they are talking about. In this case, the examination date. The subject is what is the subject? It's Sinhala and literature. So we need to figure out a connection between Sinhala and the subject date. So let's go to the select. Let's go to the student exam mark record, and in this table you can see there is a subject. There's a column for subject ID. We can get the subject ID from this one, and after that we can get the there's also another term. There's a column called term ID. This term ID holds the term ID of the exam term table. So let's get the select. Let's search the subject thing first. So I'm gonna say select all from exam mark table for exam marks tv. It is the database, and this is the table, the record, students exam mark record. um, and I'm gonna search by the subject ID, right? Student mark records subject ID is Sinhala. I guess Sinhala is 3. Whenever now, if you execute the SQL query, you will get a result, and this will hold the result for singular subject. You can see the entire singular, the subject ID has number 3 as a subject ID. So instead of searching by the ID, we need to search by the name. So we have to write a subquery. So let's say in, instead of using the equal sign, we need to use the in, and after that I'm going to write the subquery and select. The subquery must include the subject ID, and we gonna get the subject ID from the subject table using the subject name Sinhala. So that is the thing we are gonna do. Subject dot subject ID from subject table, where the subject table subject name is you have to be specific. It is not Sinhala. It is Sinhala and literature. No, Sinhala language and literature. You need to be specific when giving data, otherwise you will end up in big troubles. So if you execute this query, you will get an answer like this, and it is the same result that we have got earlier. So we got we got the subject. Now we need to mention the subject, the examination date. So let's mention the examination date. So in this case, examination date's ID, you have to check the examination date ID. This date has an ID as this date has 1. The ID's value is 1. This examination date. Hope you guys understood. So now we have to say, and we have to use the and operator. I have to say the sub exam term ID is 1. ID is 1. Now we are being more specific. We will get less rows as a result. Let's see. Instead of now I'm going to write a subquery for this one. Instead of using the ID, I'm going to use a subquery to get the date. So I'll select dot term ID from the table called exam term. We are search by the term the date. So exam the date that held exam that held, right? So exam the term dot date, it is this date. Let's copy and paste. Yeah. So we got as a row, but now we have we have got the students IDs as well, but we need to get students. We got the students ID, but we need the students details, right? We need the students students what students name, first name, last name, gender, and what we have in the student table. Whatever in the student table, we need that. The contact number, the class ID. So in this case, I think guys, we need to use joint query. So using joint query, I'm going to say join the student table that exists in the student table that exists in the exam marks DB, and have to specifically say which columns that gonna match in the student table. The index number in the student table is going to be joined with the index number of the student exam mark record table. Hope you guys understood my. Now if you execute this query now, you can get the whole details of the students, and instead you will get the students index number twice, because there's an index number there's a column for index number in the student table. Also there's a column for index number in the exam mark record, but it's okay. We will in the end of the result we only need the students details. So you can see here, instead of searching for all the columns, we can be more specific. So I'm going to say the student's index number and student's first name and student's last name, whatever in the student table we all the table. Student mobile, sorry, gender, and student contact number. I don't think so we need the have an issue. What is the issue? I don't see the issue. Maybe let's put the all. Let's get the result. Let's get the columns, the entire column, and let's put what do you think? Now we have, let's mention the student's last name column. Student last name, just give me the last name. Yeah, okay. Now give me the student's first name as well. Okay, cool. I think there is slight any slight mistake that can be happen anytime. I need the gender, I need the contact number. Now there is an issue with let's read the error. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check your corresponds to your MySQL. Check the manual contact number for the right syntax to use near contact number. Yeah. Okay, I got it. You didn't use I didn't use a comma. Now I'll get the result. So that is the answer for question 1. Then find the details of the students who participated in the singular subject in the examination held on this specific date. Okay, cool. Now we can move on to the question 2. Hey, what's good, guys? We are on the question 2 of question set 22. So here's the question. Let's read the question real quick. And Sandhan Vijay Ratna find out the marks of the examinations in the student appeared on this particular date, the date of the examination, the term, the number of admissions, the name and the name of the subject. So we have to find out the Sandhan Vijay Ratna. So I'm gonna get the So we press go and write the query. Now I want to say select student dot I want to select all from this exam database name, and the database that I'm working on is the student database. And from on I'm going to join a table, and it is the exam mark record table. So I'm going to say join dot exam mark record table, and I'm going to say which column going to match with the I'm going to say which column going to match with the specific tables column. So I'm going to say student tables index number is going to be matched with the exam mark records. Exam mark records student index number. Now if we execute the query, we'll get an result like this. Now you can see we have joined the exam term table, student term table with exam mark record table. Now we have the student's detail and then the exam mark record as well. And also I'm going to match the exam term table. So I'm going to say join exam marks db dot exam term on and I'm going to match this table with exam mark record. So I'm going to say student exam mark record dot exam term id is going to be matched with exam term tables term id. So now we will get an answer like this. So we have matched the exam mark records term id with the exam terms term id. So you can see here we have matched the IDs. You can see here it perfectly matched. And again we need another we have to match another table. It is subject table, because you can see here they have mentioned the subject as well. So I'm going to say join the exam mark db dot subject, and I'm going to say which column is going to be matched with the exam mark records column attribute that is going to be matched with the subject tables attribute. So I'm going to say subject dot subject id is going to be matched with the exam mark records student exam mark records subject id. Now you can get a big lot of columns, and now we have all the details. Now we can specifically mention which is which, and now I'm going to write a condition. So I will say where the the term exam term dot exam term name, exam term date is what we are looking for. It is this specific date. This one, hold on, let's see which one. The 15th of March, so this one. So I'm going to paste it over here. Now we'll get an answer like this. It will show only the result for that specific date, and that date is you can see here exam date. We don't have any other any result for other dates. And now we have to mention the student's name. I'm going to say and the student tables dot first name is, I guess it has to be Sandun, or I don't know. Yes, Sandun. And another AND operator here, and the last name is, I have to mention the last name as well, is, and the last name has to be Vijay Ratna. And now you will get an answer like result like this. Now it will only have the Sandun, the details for only Sandun Vijay Ratna. Also it has the details for only this specific date. Now we have wrote the, we have fulfilled the conditions. Now we have to filter the rows, filter the columns. Therefore I'm going to say I only need these specific columns I only need these specific columns. So I'm going to go from the student table. I need the first name and the last name. Also I need the term term name. So to get the term name I have to mention the exam term table from term name, and I got the term name. And what else we need? The number of admission. What that means? I mean it is the index number. So we can get the index number from student dot index number. And what else we need? The name and the subject of this, and subject of name of the subject and the name. So I'm going to get the subject name. So we have to get the subject from subject table, and I'm going to rearrange this query so you can understand it easier. Is the error, you can see here is the error, and it is still got the error, and it is on line 44. I forgot to add a comma. Now we will get the answer. So you can see here first name, last name, term name, index number, subject name. So it has to be the query, I guess. And I think I need to add the term date also. So I'm going to get term date from the exam term table, exam term dot exam date, and I have to insert a comma. Now we got like this: exam term date, first name, last name, term name, index number, and the subject name. So that's all for the question 2. We can move on to the question 3. Now we are on the question set 22's question 3. And you can see here the find the name, subject, marks, term of the examination, date of the examination of the student who obtained between 40 and 70 marks in the subject of mathematics and held on this particular date. So I guess this would be the same query, and we only need we have to just have to insert uh, another like this. We have to say we have to change the date, right? We have to change the date. We have to change the date, and we have to say another between 40 and 50 is the mark count. So the mark count is it's also in the mark record table, so you can it's on the mark record table. So we need the mark record table, so I'm going to go check the mark record table here. And does it has the mark? Yeah, it has the mark. So I'm going to say the mark. The mark. Yeah, I have to use the end operator, and I have to say dot mark is higher than 40 and is lesser than 70. Let's see if we can get any answers. Yeah, we can get an answer, and I'm going to get the I have to print the mark as also, so I'm going to say now we will get a result that we will get the mark as a result also. So it says 44 12.12. So I'm not going to copy and paste. I'm going to this is my idea, and I'm going to write the query from the scratch again. So I'm going to say let's save this as a comment, so we can access to it later, or we can get an idea. For me, this is select all from the student table. The student table, and I'm going to I'm going to join the student exam mark table. So I'm going to say join exam marks db dot exam mark record on, and I have to mention which column is going to be matched with which column. So I'm going to say student mark records index number is going to be matched with student tables index number. If you execute the query, you will get an answer like this. So it has the student tables details as well as exam mark records details also, and from on we can move on to the other things. That means we have to join the exam term table as well. So I'm going to say join exam of previous dot exam term, and I'm going to say which column is going to be matched with these columns, these tables, this column. So I'm going to match the exam term tables term ID with student exam mark records student ID, sorry, the term ID. So if you execute the query now, you will get an answer like this, and it included, it includes the term also. So we can access to the term, we can access to the student, and we can access to the mark record table. But I'm going to join another table. It is subject table. And the subject join exam mark babies dot subject, and let's say on subject dot subject ID dot subject ID is going to be matched with the student exam mark records subject ID like this. And now if you execute the query, we can check this subject name and subject ID as well. So now we have to write the conditions. So I'm going to say where, I'm going to use it where, and I'm going to say so the condition is the mark, this mark 40 to 70 between the marks, and the date, that this specific this particular date. So I'm going to say where the exam term dot exam term date is, hold on, this one, and the marks of the student exam mark record it is you have to, you can use a between, or you can use the higher than lesser than signs, and I'm going to use between, so between 40 and 70. Let's see if let's check the result, and there are plenty of results. Let's see here, those are you can see here the mark is between, those marks are between, the mark range are between 40 and 50, sorry, 40 and 70 between, and the exam dates are 7th of 10, the 7th month. What is the 7th month? I guess it's July. It's, yeah, July. So 10th of July, and the mark count. Okay, so now we have fulfilled the condition. Now we have to filter out the columns. So what we need, the find the name subject, marks, term of examination, date of the examination. That's all we need. So I'm going to say instead of using the asterisk mark, I'm going to say student dot first name, comma student dot last name, and term, and the exam terms tables, term name, exam term dot term date. What else you need? Are those only 4? So find this name. We need the subject. So we have to access the subject table. So subject dot subject name. So if we execute now, we will only get these specific columns only. Yeah, it is the answer for question 3. I'll meet you in the question 4. Hey, what's good guys? We are on the 4th question of question set 22. Now it is who is the highest scoring student in the first term out of all subjects. So you have to mention the subject, and it is the condition. It is a condition, and the high score, and out of all subjects. So you don't have to. So you have to mention a specific subject. So let's delete this query. Now I'm going to work from the exam term table. The student table. Select all from exam mark DB's student table, and I'm going to join the exam mark DB's student mark record table, and I'm going to match the student mark record tables student index number ID with student tables index number. Now you will get an answer like this. And after that what else you need? And we need the term. So I'm going to join the term. And it's going to be joined with student mark records in exam term ID, and in the exam term tables dot term ID. Now you can see here, this is the exam exam mark record table, and the results are matched with the term table. You see here, it is the first term, and term name also first, term ID also 1, and the term ID of the exam mark method also 1. So now we can go to the conditions. So we can say where, and I'm going to use subquery. So where the student mark records term ID is, I'm going to get term ID from the exam term table. So I'm using a subquery where the term ID, I need the term ID using the term name. Now I'm going to mention the term, the table name, and where the term name is first term. So I'm going to say exam term dot term name is equal to first term now you'll get the results for only first term, and you can see here there isn't any answer. We had to figure it out real quick. It was I think it was a spelling mistake. Now we have the records for only the exam first term, only for the first term. You can see here we also first term. So and so now we can simply use max query. So to use that max query, I'm going to insert this into this whole query into a subquery. So I'm going to get the exact result for this term ID. So I'm going to looking forward to get the mark in the student exam mark record. So I'm going to say where student exam mark records mark inside the sub. For this I'm going to use subquery, and it will get the inside this bracket I'll insert this query. So and I'm going to say select the mark. So it will say like this. So where the student mark get the mark from the student mark record table, and get the student mark record table where there's a little issue. You have to change this to term ID or exam term ID. Exam term ID. So get the marks for the exam term ID this query is equal to this query. It means the term ID is get the term ID that belongs to the first term. And so instead of getting the marks, I'm going to use a max query. So it is the max. So now we will get an answer like this error, and it is on the first. You can see here. So we got the results for, but there is an issue, I guess. There are lots of there can be only one right, who is the highest scoring student in the first term out of all subjects. So we already have multiple subjects. In this case, we have to get a result as this one. Oh no, this one. So we need to get the student 008 as a result, and we are getting a lot of rows, so we have to figure it out. We need a result as we need one row. We have to expect a result, but the result will be a one single row. We are getting multiple rows. That's what the issue is. So let's see what we can do about it. So we are getting this mark from subquery. Select max mark from this student mark record table. I forgot to mention which table we are working on, so I have to say exam mark db dot exam mark record. Now if we execute, we will have, this is the one. But you can see here there is a one case the student has 100 marks, so he has to be the highest one. As I said earlier, I told 99, but I forgot to look this one. So this is the correct answer. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this first name and last name instead of getting all the details, because that's what we need. Who is the biggest who is the highest scoring student, so we have to get the student, we have to get his first name and last name, that's all. So I'm going to get the first name and last name from the student table, last name, and that's all. We got our answer. Amanda Moses is the one, and I'll see you in the question set 23.